everybody. We are live on Facebook. If you are watching, please share this video with as many people as you can, because we are gonna have fun today, and our topic is working with the vulnerable in Luhya land. Thank you so much, everybody. Take these minutes to share the video with on your other groups. Share it with your friends. Share it with everybody, because it needs to go far and wide. Thank you so much. And because not everybody speaks Luhya, we are gonna have to talk in English today, just to accommodate our guest, Mr. Flo. Can everybody introduce yourselves and say where you're zooming in from?
Yeah, my name is Odilia, and I'm zooming in from the Netherlands.
My name is Floor, and I'm...
Hello?
Hi, Odilia. My name is Floor, and I'm also zooming in from the Netherlands. But there's about, I think, 80 kilometers between you and me, where we are.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
My name is Catherine. I'm zooming from Kenya, in Kakamega, Mumias.
And as you know, my name is Minage, and I'm zooming in from California. And we are actually piggybacking on the topic we had about working with the vulnerables in Kakamega district. I will start by asking Catherine just to summarize again, just briefly, what is going on in Kakamega post-COVID. As a social worker, what do you see on the ground? And then the rest of us are gonna, come in and see, how to, see what we need to do on the topic. We'll join in the discussion. So, Catherine.
Thank you very much. I am, as I said, I'm Catherine. I'm also a social worker or a volunteer in the community, mostly working with women and girls with disabilities in Kakamega. I'm at Mumias East, that is Shianda. What is going on with the people on the ground with the effect of COVID-19 to the vulnerable? It is actually, we are not in a good state. The vulnerable are not, most of the people on the ground, first of all, they don't even understand what is this pandemic all about? What is it about? How will it affect me? Some people do not even have the knowledge of what COVID-19 is. And two, these people have really been affected. Most people on the ground, they depend on local businesses, local everything. And at this moment, because of this COVID, it has stopped almost everything. And now the vulnerable people in the community are the most affected. And people are not actually, our leaders are not in line, or they're not coming for these people. They're not rescuing the vulnerable in the society. Who are the vulnerable in the society? One, the people living with disabilities, especially severe disabilities. Two, the women. The women here, I include women with disabilities, the children and girls. Those are the most vulnerable people in our society, and the old person. And you find that our population is made up of majority who are poor, or majority of the population are not rich, they're poor. They're not even in the middle class. And now this COVID-19 has just come in, whereby these people are left behind. Most of the categories, most of the people are not in line.
May I ask you something, please? You said that the people there in Kakamega area, they don't even understand the implications of COVID-19 or the coronavirus. What does what kind of effect does the not understanding of these people of the coronavirus have on daily life? How do they not understand, and well, what does it do? What effect does it have? Consequences?
By meaning that they don't understand, it is the way to protect themselves, the way to live with the COVID-19. Those are that's what I meant by not understanding. Most people on the grassroots or in the village are illiterate, and they're old persons.
Yes.
So the knowledge to know, and even most of the families do not afford the technology that we have now that pass information. And if you come to the people with disabilities, you find that some, let me take an example of the deaf people who have never gone to school. The radios are talking, the TVs are showing, the charts are drawn. They don't know anything about that. They just need somebody in the native to teach them in their native to understand what is this COVID. And this has brought along the consequences. And these are the consequences. One, their income, because of the economy drop, the income is totally low. Two, their businesses are locked. They can't do their small businesses again to reinstate their families. They can't stand with their families. They can't feed the families, and they can't get anything. Three, because of the rural setup, most of our girls are left out there. They're just walking around, maneuvering around, because there is no food, nobody can contain them. And this brings about gender-based violence. These girls are violated. They end up indulging in sexual activities, either forcefully or willingly, to get what they want. And this is all about the COVID. Three, because of the same rural setup, you get most of the mamas are now going back to the village without anything in the hand, without any food to the table, because most of the women are the one putting food on the table. And now because they don't have anything, they can't afford to stand with their families. You find that most families are even breaking up. Yeah.
So you're saying that there is a big rise in numbers on prostitution because of the COVID situation?
I actually don't call it prostitution because these are minors.
Okay.
And because of they are school-going girls, and because there is no school to contain these girls, the schools are locked again. Because of the closure of schools, the girls are just there, and people are taking advantage of these girls, young girls. Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
It is quite heartbreaking. And especially with, at least here in California, with the schools out, at least we do online. A lot of the kids go on Google Classrooms. And I know my daughter, I've been doing a lot of homework on Google Classrooms with the lockdown. Down there in the village, I'm sure there's no internet, and the bundles are very expensive. So that means that if kids were going to school and they are out of school, then there's no any kind of education going on right now. It's just like everything stopped.
Yeah. Exactly. Actually, we have online learning in Kenya that has been just put in place. But it's not favorable to everyone. The people in the village cannot even afford the devices, leave alone even the bundle. Just even getting a phone, it is not easy. And you cannot find someone with. So children in the villages have been left out. Those people who are benefiting are those people who are from rich family, who can afford the phones, who can afford the laptops and go online learning. So the system is not actually capturing everyone.
Have you not heard of Safaricom or Airtel aware of this problem and like reducing the prices for online learning, or there's no initiative as such going? And did anybody ask these companies to take their responsibility? I know. I once I stayed in a home of somebody pretty high up in Safaricom, Odilia, and you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Safaricom be called upon doing something about this? I mean, even if you have one phone and put 5 children around it, you can do class.
Mr. Flo, you may have to call that person you stayed with. When I was in Kenya, Safaricom is one of the most expensive carriers you can.
No, they're expensive.
They are expensive. Even in California, we don't pay that kind of money that Safaricom requires you to pay. I was in Kenya, and you're out of $100 in a minute. And you're like, what the hell just happened? They are the most expensive, and I don't know.
Safaricom is the most expensive network around.
I know, but I'm not talking about the normal price.
It's the most popular network and the most expensive.
But I'm not talking about the normal pricing. Of course.
But however,
I know Safcom is very expensive. I'm talking about them promoting themselves or even, taking a step on social responsibility of the country where they originate from and where they are making a lot of money. They should maybe even you could say, Odilia, you've gone again.
Odilia, you're off.
But you could say, okay, between 10 and 12 every morning, teaching takes place. In these hours, Safaricom will, I don't know, reduce the prices. So you can stay online with very little bundles or something like that. Safaricom, somebody should call Safaricom. Actually, I only know the lady very.
What I've seen Safaricom doing, they have this, they connect to the publishers. Like when you go to the Longhorn publishers, you find that there is Safaricom bundles, like 100 MB, you can read some books in Longhorn publishers. You see, they connect to a publisher, but they are not providing lessons.
Yeah, I know.
Our curriculum, these children need to be guided.
But what I'm saying, Catherine, it's sorry for maybe intruding and maybe being very naive, but I'm a little bit of an activist. Yeah. I know what these capitalists are not doing. Okay, I always know that they're not doing what they can be doing or should be doing. I also know that if you ask them and have a good story, they might be inclined to do something.
Okay.
That is true.
So good they're not doing that.
And I think as we talk, I think the good thing is there's many people who are watching. And as we talk, what is going to happen is a lot of people are really going to take that opportunity. And if you're watching, actually, you're out there watching, call Safaricom and say, what can you do for us? Yes. We are down here in the village. What can you do for us? And let's see what they're going to do, because you know what? Safaricom makes a lot of money, and this is the time you give back, Safaricom. This is an opportunity for you to give back to the community, because it's this community that has made you, and during hard times you need to give back. So that is, something I'm sure if they listen, if you're listening, Safaricom, please make it this resource available to our people.
And Safaricom, or people that are going to contact Safaricom, this is your opportunity to become even mega more popular with the population. If you put it out and you say, I'm serving the community, this is going to be a promotion to you. So Safaricom, do something.
Yeah. And Safaricom needs to come in. Being our major and main network in Kenya, they actually need to come in and help us on this, especially with the people in the rural areas who cannot access learning lessons from online services. They
And
should come
who
up
can
with
be
something
and
that
who
can
can
help.
be against teaching children?
Yeah.
That's not even politics.
It's not
No,
even
it's not politics.
Yeah. Catherine, and let me ask you, how are the markets still closed?
The markets are only major markets are not closed, but they are monitored, and the people that going there and coming out are. We have the county people just ensuring that there is this safety. People are washing hands. The number of people that are inside the market are not exceeding. It's not a crowd. Some businesses, you maybe these women who have been doing businesses since morning to evening are not able to do that. They make arrangements and do a certain time just to ensure that they are giving time each and everyone an opportunity to the market, but not at the same time.
So there's no kibandas with Mama Kibanda selling tomatoes.
Outside the bandas are not allowed. Just inside the market. If you know that you have a kibanda outside, it will be closed. You must
But
be
why?
inside the market for easy monitoring. Because as I said earlier, that most of our people don't understand about the effects of this COVID, especially when they get it. Actually, in our villages, as per now, we thank God, and we wish it continues to be like this because we don't have victims right now. But people there, they just live normally. They don't understand any abnormality of this disease at all. So if they are just left on their own, it will be out of control.
And maybe we have to give credit to the president who put that stop of getting people coming from the big city moving into the villages. That lockdown, I think, has helped in a lot. And we need to take this opportunity to thank the president of Kenya, Kenyatta, for the efforts that he has done to be proactive in terms of making sure that this doesn't, that the spread is minimized.
Yeah. I think our president is trying. He's actually totally trying in and out just to ensure that his people are protected. The only areas that we are facing challenges is the borders and especially our truck drivers. This issue of corona spreading rapidly has just come in when we started seeing that our truck drivers are having or are victims of this. And now they come and mingle with the people, with the families, and this actually has made the spread to go wider. But actually we were managing it. Through the ministry, they're trying. Therefore, I can say that they're trying their level best. But however, the effects of this COVID is whereby we have a challenge. They have not addressed this issue so well. They're trying, but they have not addressed it so well.
And is there organization helping these vulnerable, especially the women with disability?
Like, for example, where I am situated, we have small organizations like WEFOCO that are trying, and individuals that are trying to come and help the communities to give some foodstuffs, some soap, and give knowledge. And we are getting involved with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of rumors about food prices. Catherine, what can you tell us about food prices in Western Kenya right now?
Okay, the food prices, I also give this credit to our president. He ensured that the food prices do not go high. First of all, the fuel the price were lowered. And now the food prices are just on a standstill before Corona. They're not going high and they're not going low. They're just still at their normal prices. Most of the commodities are just there.
Okay, then you're talking about unga and boga and things like that.
Boga and oil and sugar.
Hmm.
Before Corona, somewhere in March, the unga 2 kg was 110 shillings, Kenyan shillings. And it's still at that rate. And we are hoping that it will come lower now that we are seeing our maize is tasseling, and in the next 2 months we shall have some ugali around some maize. For those people who have a piece of land and they have done something in their farms, we're gonna have something.
And what about employment? Are people being laid off? Is it the same thing we are seeing in America? In America, we have like 30 million people unemployed.
Yes.
Are you guys experiencing the same thing?
We are. Like most of our people working in the private sectors have actually lost their jobs. And you find most of our people in the village may be depending on somebody in Nairobi who's working to provide for the family down here. That person has lost a job. He has nothing to do and he can't even travel back home. The family is not getting anything from that sole breadwinner. Even here, the businesses, the big businesses, like maybe somebody who had a supermarket has decided to reduce the workers, or some workers have been sent to compulsory leave. Some have been dismissed because they can't manage. Most people are affected in employment and they have lost their jobs.
And when are the schools opening?
It is not even, it is not clear. Even yesterday, the Minister for Education just confirmed to us that we are not yet in a position to open schools, especially with the increment of the numbers of the corona victims. We're going to wait for quite some time. But we are now worried of our candidates, those who are sitting for the Form 4 examinations and the Standard 8 examinations. We are so much worried for them because we don't know what might happen. Although there was a rumor that we already have a timetable, they are set to do the exam in the normal times, that's December. But now the minister just confirmed that it's not yet ready. It's not yet time.
Wow.
And since you're in Kakamega, you're not too far from Uganda. Any word on the Ugandan-Kenyan border opening?
In fact, the Uganda border is having, we are having a high number of we just had in the last 3 days, we are having an increment in the corona victims increasing rapidly. We have like today we have already 3. Yesterday we had about 6. That makes the border to even lock, to continue being locked, because if the Ugandans are actually taking their safety and they're not ready to open, we have a lot of businesses normally that goes around Uganda and Kenya for the local commodities. And if it's opened, the 2 countries will suffer. Yeah, so it's still intact, it's still locked.
So there's no good news from on that area.
Yeah, there's no good news at all.
But I hear the numbers of the COVID patients are relatively low, not like in New York or in Germany or even here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, they're relatively low. And we thank God that actually we can, at least per day, we have people being discharged who have recovered from, the patients who have recovered from COVID. And we thank God for that. And even the other day, the First Lady Burundi was just flown to the country to get better treatment in Kenya. And we thank God.
Really?
Yeah.
To go to Kenya for better treatment.
Yes. That's a
Where was she at? Where was she at?
Our health workers are actually doing an exemplary job.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Nice. As you don't want to go to the hospitals have been closed. You can't go to even for any cosmetic or anything, and I see a lot of telemedicine increasing. If you really have to talk to your doctor, we have to go on Zoom with our doctors right now in California.
Okay.
They are not getting people in the hospital. You have to be dying.
Hey.
So, Mr. Flo, I know you do have worked in the past. Give us a background of what work you have done in Kenya, and your foundation, so that the people can know what work, the impact you've had in Africa. I know you've done a lot of work in Africa, Mr. Flo.
Yeah, well, actually, I partially grew up in Kenya. When I was a small boy, from 9 till 14, somewhere there. We lived mostly in Mombasa area. Since then, Kenya is, I always say I have a motherland and a fatherland. One of them is Kenya, the other one is the Netherlands. Don't ask me which one is father, which one is mother, I wouldn't know. Tomorrow, again, I'm starting a Swahili class with a very, very good teacher here in the Netherlands. I know she'll teach me Swahili within a week or something like that. And then next time we'll talk Swahili. And after that, I'll be on Luhya. I already have the pronunciation. Very easy.
You can start by saying Mirembe. Mirembe. Mirembe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so from my profession, I'm a documentary filmmaker. And as a documentary filmmaker, with a heart for Africa, I traveled to Africa quite a few times. Made some documentary films in Africa. Also a few in Kenya. They were broadcasted here in the Netherlands on national television and on festivals worldwide. My films usually have to do with social engagement between people. I don't like to distinguish between black and white or rich and poor. To me, it's just about people, and there's injustice. And, we should be responsible for taking care of each other. That is this very simple message. Some people call it love, and I'm inclined to do the same thing. Although some people start laughing at me when I call it that. They ask me if I'm a woman. Since a few years, actually, I was in Kenya to write a book, which I wrote. Let me go get it.
Dance in Africa.
It's called In Africa Sometimes. It is about my journeys, about my travelings, about my teachings in Kenya and many other countries in Africa. I love teaching African students as they need it, and if they want me, and if they ask me into how to make better film, how to be a better storyteller. And I've been doing that for many years. During one of those visits doing that, I actually ran across, I rented a small wooden house on the beach in Mombasa, on North Coast. And every day there was a lady sitting outside on the beach. She was selling eggs, and I went to talk to her every day. Very, very nice lady, Giriama lady. And she slowly started opening up and told me her story. She had been raped by an uncle kind of guy. She was left with 2 children. She was, you know how it goes in Africa. Once you are raped, instead of being a victim, you are in fact a perpetrator. At least that's how people treat you. So she was chased away from the family, and the children, they had nothing to go for themselves. So let's make a long story short, because it was very dramatic. I financially took it upon myself to help that lady develop herself. I took her, it sounds too much, but really, I want the honor to go to this lady because she had never even been in school for more than 1 year. So she went back to school. I helped a little bit with the school fees. Then I loaned her some small money. Here. I borrowed her some small money to start a business because I don't believe in giving. You know, people have to work their asses. So I borrowed her some money, and then she started paying me back. Can you believe it? In Kenya.
Wow.
No,
Yes,
that's
it
good.
happened.
And honestly, that is what I think we need to move to, because
Well,
the
Yeah.
handouts are good, but they're not always good. Sometimes if somebody gives you a loan and you can pay back, I think that goes a long way because you learn a little more than just receiving. You
Exactly.
learn to, you know, to
One of the
continue.
problems is, you know, your institution, even the banking on women, they have an interest rate of 10% and more, which is crazy. You know, if you have a small shop, to make 10% on a loaf of bread is not even possible because
No.
these big super loaf companies or something like that, they will not allow you 10% profit on. And even if you make 10%, then you have to pay back the bank. So this whole banking system in Kenya is totally corrupt. Well, to make a very long story short, after Hadija, or Lina, as she calls her Christian name, another lady came and another lady came. And then a good friend of mine, whom is actually a lady, I wish she was here tonight. Maybe she should be invited next time. She's also a filmmaker. She told me, she was helping me, and she said, Floor, you know, you should stop putting all your own money into that. Make it a foundation so we can actually grow it and affect more people. Now, all our mamas at this point, we are a very small foundation, nothing big. We are growing up to, at this moment, 15 mamas with
Wow.
all their children.
Mhm.
We always help with school fees. We allow them to come up with their own plan, how to support themselves. Then we step by step coach them into that. All our mamas, as many women in Kenya are, I'm sure Catherine and Judy and Odila, you can agree on that. Many women are sexually abused. All of the women were dumped with the children. The guy is on another pasture, probably impregnating another woman, ready for him to dump her again. Sorry, I'm pretty outspoken and very angry about it. You know, there's nothing wrong about having sex, really. I believe having sex is a nice thing and a good thing, as long as it's done respectfully with love, and you take your responsibility, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So at this point, all our mamas, they either have been sexually abused, raped, shunned, kicked out, and many of them being abused by their own family members. And well, you know, they're deeply traumatized. I'm sure, Catherine, you in your work as a social worker, you will meet them, you will see them, and we really work hard and try to help them get on their own feet. Really.
Are they only in Mombasa or also in Nairobi, anywhere else?
There are both in Mombasa and Nairobi. Some of them are like more, let's say, a little bit remote from Mombasa or Nairobi, towards Machakos, towards Mariakani, Otange, Majahoni, Mtwapa, of course, Kilifi.
Is there a possibility that you can expand your foundation to Kakamega, knowing that Catherine is right there in Kakamega?
Yeah.
You know, we don't look. There's only one condition. You know, one, we need people to be able to guide them, because these are traumatized ladies.
Yeah.
If you would leave them like that, they have no idea how to pick themselves up, which is the very painful thing in my view. Most African women, I'm sure you can agree, have not even been taught by their parents that they can actually be somebody. The whole idea is, I don't even know why I am here, or I don't. When we ask these women, what is it that you want of life? The only one answer that they can produce in the beginning is, I want my children to survive. They have never even learned how to look at themselves and saying, I'm valuable, I have a place, I'm important.
And we are talking about two groups of women. Our topic today is the vulnerable ones, because we do have another group of Kenyan women who can do that. But today's topic, we are more on those vulnerables. There's another group that are most vulnerable, that are not able to defend themselves, that don't know where they're coming. They've come from an abusive home, or they've been abused themselves. And they have extremely low self-esteem and don't know where they're coming or going. And this is what we are talking about.
The thing is now, to get back to your question, Judy, would we be able to expand to Kakamega again? We are ready to be anywhere. In fact, we even have two mothers in Uganda, since we found them kind of washed up on the beach in Mombasa, and their home was in Uganda, so we helped them go back to Uganda, basically, because we believe that mothers and children should be together as much as possible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what do you normally need for these women to join you? Because I understand that we have very many women here in Kakamega who are undergoing the same, and they really need such like a foundation to come in support for them.
Yeah, I totally understand your question, Catherine, and I know the need is overwhelming everywhere in Africa, and not accepted Kakamega. The thing actually is, we are very small, and we have to fight for every euro that we can find to help our mothers to mostly go to school. First, we take them to school, give them some kind of education. Currently, we have one mother learning to be a car mechanic. She'll be finished in about 2 years, and we are paying for her upkeep, but very, very little. Okay, I mean, it's just rent and probably like maybe 100 or 200 shillings for food every day. Otherwise, they'll have to just manage themselves. We've got one mother who actually just finished her training to be a tuk-tuk driver, and we are in the process of starting a tuk-tuk sako in the north coast of Mombasa, in which in a few years' time, we have a plan for about 3 years' time. We wish to employ around about 10 mothers or even more, driving and sharing the tuk-tuks, manning the office. We have this idea of working together as a platform, like Uber, kind of. We are currently trying to look for money because we want, and this is more in the Nairobi area, we have a few mothers there that are very interested in fashion and beauty. And we want to take them to school for fashion design and tailor, how to mend clothes and stuff like that. And we would like maybe to start a small chain of boutiques where people can take their clothes to be mended, like school uniforms and stuff like that, but also get their clothes designed for, you like your parties, such as baby showers and wedding parties and things like that. So both on low-end market and a little bit high-end market, we are trying to establish that. But it's all very humble and very small. We're just fighting, and just hoping to find people that are willing to work together with us. But as for now, it is only 15 mamas spread all over Kenya, and 2 of them are in Uganda, actually.
Wow.
So what steps should Catherine take to get that group of Kikundi? You know, Kikundi cha wamama huko Kakamega, a small group of mamas in Kakamega, and get in touch with you and see how she can really, start building this network. And I think that is a starting point. And we had talked before in the group. And for me, my thing is I'm a very solution-based person. I like to get to the end of things. I just don't like to talk and then you leave the thing hanging. I'm more result-oriented person. So I'm looking at it and saying, with your help, Mr. Flo, and because you already have the background of what you have done in Mombasa, kind of help Catherine, kind of, like a cookie cutter kind of thing, use the same methodologies to start that Kikundi in Kakamega. And we will continue to talk on it and see if other people are able to join that, to help get that foundation or whatever the baseline is going to be into moving to bigger things. Because sometimes starting is the hardest. Once you get started, moving on to something, when you have something already in the ground, then it is easy to join in and help wherever you can. What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking hard on how we could. The first thing that comes to mind is as soon as Odilia and myself are back in Kenya, we should come and meet you, Catherine, and see how we can involve ourselves with. At this moment, all of us, we are stuck because of this COVID thing. Actually, I should have been in Kenya right now. Secondly, we have taken this very, very individual approach, which is maybe a very, very European, because it is very individual in a way. We don't deal with groups so much. So the first thing what we do is when a mother is being brought to us, or when a mother is being found by us, we make sure that she and the children are safe and are eating something. And then we try to look for some sponsors here in the Netherlands that would pick up the bill for, and then you're usually mostly only talking depending on the rent and exactly where they are. But then we look for sponsors for, let's say, $150 or 120 euros. Most cases, that is more or less enough. Secondly, we try to figure out how we can get them on NHIF, because we find that these people are very sick all the time. Even though the NHIF is very poor in covering, we have also found that sometimes it is worthwhile to be on NHIF. So calculating everything, we found it is more valuable to be in the NHIF than leave the bill to us.
And it's amazing, Mr. Flo. The last topic we had on this forum, we were talking about that insurance. And we're saying that, yes, it does. It covers some. It is better than nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
And if our people can just get on it, at least that will give them a baseline. And then as they develop, they can move to better insurance with time and resources.
I don't know how you people see that, but I find even regionally, although NHIF is the national health insurance, even regionally there's different coverages. Okay.
Yes, there is.
And it kind of just depends on who is leading the regional office, right? I know there's a guy in Mtwapa who, Mr. Mohammed Abbas, he's a real good guy. Our mothers in Mtwapa, they go to hospitals and they get almost everything covered outpatient. Okay. Then I know somebody who is in Kitengela who has a daughter who is very sick all the time, and the only thing that they get paid for is the bed.
The bed.
The bed. So there's no outpatient cost. There's no medic. There's no examinations. There's no laboratory costs. only the bed. But you know, if you stay in the hospital even only one night, the bed is usually 2,000 shilling. So paying your 500 a month, you know, it's usually better than not having paid it. So this. So after that, after having them safe, our mothers really need to be like quiet and come to place and come to a kind of peace with themselves. Then we start talking about what is it that you would want, how would you want to give color to your life. Now we take them out of this stage of, you know,
Survive.
getting an idea of, hey, I am somebody, I can actually choose something, I can actually be somebody. I don't have to be the house girl or the washing lady or the just, you know, I can, if I like technology, I can be a car how do you call it, mechanic. If I like beauty, I can do something on. Actually, we had one lady who did the hairdressing stuff, like what you African ladies all like so much.
The braids.
The braids.
The braids and the whatever, you know, everything, the makeups. And now she does. She's not even in our program anymore. Now she does weddings and stuff like that with hair and beauty.
Wow.
But she has only one child, so the costs are not too high. And she's in Uganda. You know, Uganda is cheap. Schools are much cheaper than in Kenya.
Yes.
So
and food, and Uganda seems to have more food. There's plentiful.
Well, Uganda is a little bit like you, Luhya area. It's green. A lot of stuff grows there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
Most of the vegetable fruits that we eat comes from Uganda, actually.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Really?
They are good.
Okay, I like the fruits from around Mount Kenya, but that's a personal taste.
No, you know why, Mr.
I'm
Flo?
talking about the fruits. I'm not talking about the people or the women or anything like that.
Actually, they do have some good fruits over there. But I think because the fruits really have a lot of minerals from the mountains, you know, they have all the iron, the everything, all the minerals that you need to thrive, for your body, your health to thrive, you know.
Well, you know, I ran a small office in Nairobi for a few years back in film and video, and we had one employee. She was from Meru, and she would always, you know, take her leave and go to Meru and come back with these baskets of wonderful fruit, and I can still taste it. So in my head, if the fruit comes from Meru.
Yeah, and it's dryish. Actually, you know, California is really dry. If you eat California fruit, oh my God, the oranges are just amazing. We have the best oranges, citrus ever. But I think they thrive in dry areas. Yeah. And Kakamega may not have the best fruits because there's a lot of rain. There's a lot of water. So they don't thrive. The fruits need the drier areas. So I agree with you about Meru, Okambani, all those places. Their mangoes, the cost, the mangoes and the coconut being like amazing.
Yeah, we'll eat the chickens coming from Keneji chickens coming from Kakamega then, okay?
Yes, the Ingoho, you can come to Kakamega and have some good chicken.
Kakamega produce the best chicken.
We produce the best chicken. So I know it's an hour, and I know we're going to be winding down. So my thing is, Mr. Flo, if you can, with Odelia, if you guys can find a way and start with one person. I always believe you can start with one person and then 2 or 3. And Catherine, if you can come up with that one person and see how we can support that one person as we expand the foundation in Luhya land. I know we are far away from the city in Luhya land, and then piggyback and take it from there and see how we can go. And I'm gonna summarize and all of you guys can say good night as we leave. Mr. Flo, what I'm going to do is, I know you're in the film, and we do a lot of production for the Luhyas because we are doing a lot of documentaries right now for the Luhya culture, because our culture is getting extinct, completely getting extinct. So I will definitely piggyback with you. See, I have so many journalists on our forum, and these journalists are struggling, and I will set up where I can get them to come on, and you can teach them what they need to, the skills they need to do.
This is the thing that I really love doing. This is the thing that I actually do. So I'm very happy to have a group of filmmakers or journalists on a webinar, and I'd love to share. Now, the whole thing about the Female Foundation, this has my heart, but it needs money, which we don't have. Hakuna pesa hapo. So the first thing, as for the foundation, I guess Odilia and myself will find each other talking, and we'll probably find each other back in Kenya, Pamoja, and then Odilia is always traveling, of course, to the Luhya lands. Next time I will probably join her and hope to shake hands with you, of course, after the Corona times, because now Hakuna shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do anything with Corona because you may not go back to Netherlands.
Exactly. So
go ahead.
No, I was just winding up, saying, we're just hoping for the possibility to start traveling again, and hope that airfare is not going to be raising like hell, because this is what we kind of are expecting, that the tickets to buy air tickets are going to be too expensive.
Yeah, I'm told they're gonna double, which gets me scared, because I don't know the next time I'm gonna be in Kenya, because that can be too exorbitant. But you know what? I'm hoping this will pass and it can keep everything the way it is, so we don't have to make huge adjustments.
But as for the teaching, either online or on the ground, when we get to Kenya, there's very little things that I love doing more than sharing my experience and knowledges on filmmaking. So karibu sana.
Thank you. I'm gonna pick you on that, because I do have a lot of journalists, and we're gonna start online so that you get to know these people. When you go on ground, you would have established relationship.
Wonderful.
Take that is a done deal.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe before you wind up, I can just say that I do appreciate. Thank you so much, you people, again, for engaging me today for a very fruitful discussion. I'm very much grateful that you people, you are out of you are doing everything possible to see our people grow. I just applaud you guys. Thank you so much.
And thank you for being there and fighting the real fight.
Yes. Thank you, Catherine, for what you are doing on the ground. It's not easy. And Flo, Catherine has disability also.
Really?
Yes. Physical.
Physically.
I'm not seeing your disability. I was only looking up your cleavage. Nice.
So she's really, she's wonderful person. She doesn't look at her disability, and she's a very good example to other women.
Wow.
For empowerment and all that. So she's a very, very important person in Kakamega. And thank you, Judy.
I certainly we should have, maybe next time we can listen to more of your personal story. I would be very interesting to know.
Yes.
Okay. So you can say goodbye in your language.
Odilia, you lead the language.
Which language?
I think she wants.
Do you guys speak Dutch? What do you speak, Dutch?
Well, when we speak English, but I know Odilia speaks Dutch very well.
Okay, you can summarize Odilia in Dutch, and then you summarize in Kiluya, Catherine, and good night, everybody.
Good night, Judy. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Wel te rusten.
Wel te rusten.
Yeah.
Bye.
Da.
Bye.
Yeah.